It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
There you are. Good morning, or should I say good day. We're live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh, for today. Plenty to cover, as over the weekend was a very eventful weekend, specifically for Orchard Lake St. Mary's boys basketball. As a matter of fact, Orchard Lake St. Mary's has been chasing a boys basketball championship for longer than these boys have been alive. And over championship weekend in East Lansing at the Breslin, the Eaglets are the last team standing in Division I.
We put in so much work and so many hours, each week, each day, practice every day. And, this was our goal from the beginning of the season.
The state championship was a local battle between St. Mary's and nearby North Farmington, both with less than 3 losses on the season. Matching skill sets led to a big battle through the first half, with both teams gaining and losing control of the momentum. In the second half, the game began to shift to Orchard Lake, with head coach Todd Covert emphasizing what would be the difference maker for the Eaglets to escape the Raiders.
We knew we had to take care of the ball, and that was the most important thing. Is we took care of the ball and we rebounded. So that's pretty much every game, though, right? That's probably what we built our program on, is defending and rebounding.
Just paying attention to the little details, the boxing out, the getting the loose balls, the 50-50 balls, just all the little things.
Those adjustments were no mistake, as the team knew exactly the feeling of making it all the way to the Breslin, only to come up short. For St. Mary's, the semifinal served as motivation for the entire weekend, with the emphatic win proving they had the championship DNA.
We came here last year and we didn't get the job done, but this year I think we had more focus and we stayed together and we played more unselfishly, and that's what led us to win.
I think it gave us a lot of confidence and just, proof that we can really do it and win the state championship.
And that's exactly what they did, bringing out the emotions in everyone, especially a St. Mary's lifer in Coach Covert.
It means everything, outside of my family, my kids, to accomplish this with this group. And the manner we did it and how hard it is. And, I've been thinking about this for a long time. And that finally have it come true at, my alma mater it's great.
For the players, the title cements their brotherhood and their bond to St. Mary's forever as champions.
And just the whole school just being a brotherhood, just everybody loving each other and everybody wanting the next man to succeed is just a blessing and something that you shouldn't take for granted. So just being able to get a state championship for the school just means everything to me.
The future looks bright. We coming back for another one.
Marks the 5th title in Orchard Lake St. Mary Eaglets basketball program history, by the way. They will look to chase and see if they can get number 6 next year, and Coach Covert's 10th year at the helm, and also returning for one more year. Trey McKinney, a.k.a. McBuckets, with the extra sauce. And Orchard Lake, by the way, over the weekend, they defeated Ann Arbor Huron in the semifinals on Friday, and then they went on in the finals to take on North Farmington to beat them in the finals 63-52. For more information on that story on the MHSAA boys basketball finals, visit MHSAA.com or Facebook at MHSAA Sports. And speaking of basketball, speaking of sports, speaking of local sports, West Bloomfield High School girls basketball star Summer Davis named Basketball Gatorade Player of the Year for Michigan. Summer is the 2nd consecutive Laker to win the award. She is also the 2nd consecutive member of her own family to win the award, with 2023's awardee being her own twin sister, India Davis. She led the Lakers to a near undefeated season so far, averaging 18.5 points, 4 steals, 4 assists, and nearly 4 rebounds per game throughout the season. Off the court, she enjoys exotic cars, studies mechanical engineering is her plan going into college. She also volunteered at adult daycare center and also tutor at the Farmington African American Parent Network. Doing all of this while maintaining a 3.61 GPA. Superstar status. Congratulations again to Summer Davis. And a lot going on over the weekend, as it was also St. Patrick's Day, if you do celebrate. And West Bloomfield Parks actually had their own celebration for local residents. They had their St. Patrick's Day lunch, and joining us to actually talk about that, the Splash Live's very own Jake Schaff.
It's always a fun time whenever St. Patrick's Day rolls around, and the Connect Senior Center in West Bloomfield was able to unleash the holiday spirit a little earlier than expected. This past Friday, Connect held their Senior St. Patrick's Lunch, where the seniors were able to enjoy some great food, share some great memories with friends, and enjoy a spectacular performance from Motor City Irish Dance. I was able to sit in on the event to find out just how the staff and the seniors were able to embrace the holiday and the spirit along the way.
It's really all about them with the togetherness and be able to socialize with other members here at our building. We had a buffet luncheon for them along with some entertainment of the Motor City Irish dancers that performed for us today. It was a wonderful performance. We had some tap dancing type entertainment as well as flute playing and some banjo playing today.
The Irish dancers, especially the really small ones, are so cute, but it's very entertaining. Best part really were people sitting around our table of 8 and sharing laughs and jokes and just catching up on each other.
How does it feel for West Bloomfield Parks to give back to the community in this way?
The people I know that live here in West Bloomfield love the senior center. They do a lot of really cool things to bring people together, and it's seniors of all ages, but it's a good time. They offer a lot of different activities, and the dinners that they have are fun, and they're always very good.
Everyone that works here works as a team. We're definitely customer service orientated, and we love people. We're energized by the people, so to come here and put a smile on their face and get them out with their friends and rock into some music today was great.
Oh, we love to be able to entertain and have these special events. I know that I was in charge of our Michigan birthday lunch, which we had in January. We also had our Valentine's Day lunch in February. So these are really special, fun events, and we know that how much our participants enjoy coming, enjoying a lunch, having the camaraderie with their friends, and it really is a highlight. We have an event coming up, I believe it's in April, and it's a 50s theme event. And then we are also going to be doing a derby event with hats. I believe that maybe is in May. And then we also have our June senior picnic. So we have a lot of fun things coming up.
It sounds like we've got a lot of fun and exciting events coming up in the next few months with Connect. And if they are just as fun as the St. Patrick's Lunch was, I'd say you are in for an incredible experience. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Great event to celebrate with local residents and seniors of the greater West Bloomfield area. For more information on West Bloomfield Parks programs, and you can see some of the pictures from the event, you can go to their website at wbparks.org or go to Facebook at WB Parks. And speaking of food and camaraderie and coming together as a community, Food Truck Tuesdays is coming back also. A great event for residents to come together, and to speak on it more in detail, we have Executive Assistant to the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor, Chris Darcy. How are you, Chris?
Doing well. How are you this morning?
Doing so great. Thank you so much for taking time out to speak on us. Food Truck Tuesday coming back, a great event for local residents. Tell us a little bit more about this event coming back in May.
Yeah, we have been doing this event for several years now, and it seems to be getting more and more popular. Starting last year, we put the event, we placed it so that it's in between the Parks and Recreation building and the main library building. There with a little tent over the picnic tables, so residents that come to enjoy the event get to sit in the shade and enjoy, a little time out from the sunshine, and if it happened to be raining. But yeah, the event is definitely gaining in popularity, and we're looking forward to another great year.
Yes, and as we previously discussed, the origin of the event was essentially to connect the West Bloomfield Township, the library, the police department, and other staff to just come together, as well as the community, to get to know each other. And how do you feel like that has changed or grown since that actual origin?
Well, yeah, that was the initial thought process that went behind the event. And we still, to this day, we still go out there and we enjoy the event, and we get to have some camaraderie and get to speak to different, common staff members that we don't get to see very often because we're in different buildings and different locations. So that much is true. We get to do that. But we also get to meet a lot of the residents and a lot of repeat customers. We see a lot of, common faces. We get to meet with them, and they get to share their thoughts and ideas with us. And so it's really a nice opportunity for us to connect with the community.
So how do you go about choosing the actual food truck vendors that participate in the event?
Well, we have several vendors that have been with us, for a few years now. So we have repeat vendors that are interested in coming back because they enjoy the crowd, they enjoy the reception, warm reception that they get here. And we're always looking for new food vendors also. So sometimes we have new food vendors coming in. This year, a lot of our favorites, we have the Cousins Maine Lobster food truck coming back. We have the Great Greek, which is really popular. There's just DWS Street Eatery, the Grilled Wrap. We have several different food trucks that will be coming back to join us this year.
And that's good. Well, speaking of food trucks, by the way, why food trucks specifically? Why not just like a restaurant or some big venue to just have and just serve pizza or some things like that? Why specifically food trucks, and why do you feel like that's important?
I feel like it's important because for a couple of reasons. One is that they just seem to be they're trendy right now. They're on fire. They've been really popular for the last couple of years now, and it's just a hip thing to do in the community. A lot of, it brings out the younger crowd, the older crowd, it brings out all ages. And, another thing is that it helps support the local, residents that are trying to be entrepreneurs. They're running their own business, and, a lot of them are very successful and very, very talented. They have delicious foods to offer. So it's a nice way to support local businesses.
I completely understand that. And I honor that too. And we have to respect that. Executive Assistant to the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor, Chris Darcy, joining us, talking about Food Truck Tuesday, returning May 7th, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Town Hall. So by the way, Chris, are there any future plans already since this seems to be already set in stone? Any future adjustments or plans for next year or the years going forward for this specific event?
For right now, we're going to keep it status quo. That's not to say that things can't, improve and get even bigger and better in future years. But for right now, on Civic Center campus, we're going to hold tight. We're going to see if the millage passes for the Parks and Rec Commission this fall. If they do get to move forward with their expansion that they're planning, who's to say that this event, can't be relocated or have a much, bigger space? So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities in the future.
That's great to hear. Great to hear. So no like live entertainment or music or anything like that anticipated. Just to throw that out there.
Well, we would love to do something like that, and that is a great idea. I would be willing to, put the word out there that anyone that's interested in, if they have a little 1 or 2 person band, or they play an instrument, or even maybe some of the local high school students, if anyone is interested in coming out during our events to entertain and play music, that would be more than welcome. I think that would be a wonderful addition.
Absolutely, and that's great to hear. We have the opportunity to spread that word here on the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Chris Darcy joining us here, Executive Assistant to the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor, talking about Food Truck Tuesday. Thank you again for your time. Any other words that you want to give out to the community about this event, any other events that West Bloomfield Parks have coming up?
Yeah, just as far as on this topic here, we're just looking forward to another great year. It's most Tuesdays. You can check our website if you want to double check for sure, wbtownship.org. But it is most Tuesdays throughout the spring and summer. And like you said, 11:30 to 1:30 right here on the campus.
Absolutely. Thank you again so much, Chris, for joining us. We appreciate your time. And make sure you do check it out. It is a great event. Like she said, you get out there, it's an opportunity for you to get to know the police officers in the community. You get to know the people at the library. You get to know the people behind the Parks and Recreation Department that put on these type of events that we have in the community. So take some time, go out. It's every Tuesday starting May 7th, 11:30 a.m., 1:30 p.m. at the town hall, by the way. Perfect time for lunch if you have time just to go out there, meet your local police officers, library, and West Bloomfield Parks. Once again, you can go to westbloomfieldparks.org for more information. And speaking of local and West Bloomfield, Greater West Bloomfield people making a difference in the community, we are honoring West Bloomfield Police Department's first woman officer during Women's History Month. Joining us herself is Jean McBride to talk about her experience. How are you, Jean?
Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jean, making history in the West Bloomfield Police Department as the first female officer sworn in July 13th, 1979. Wow. Can you first just tell us what motivated you to even become an officer in the first place?
Well, first of all, I grew up in West Bloomfield, from second grade forward. Lived next door to a wonderful woman who was a great friend to our family. She was the first woman, or among the first women, to graduate Michigan State's police administration program, and also went to work.
And Jean, picking up where we left off, just talking about your motivation behind becoming a police officer. You were getting into that a little bit, please.
Sure. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but I grew up in West Bloomfield next door to a woman who was a dear family friend, who had been among the first women to graduate Michigan State's, back then it was the police administration program. And then following that, she was an officer in the Detroit Police Department. So she used to share a lot of those stories. I was always fascinated by it. And I think that was my first nudge into law enforcement.
Nice. So I know it had to have been an interesting journey, right? First woman officer sworn into a police department that was male dominated. Can you just talk about how your fellow officers kind of helped you feel comfortable within that space overall?
I sure can. And indeed, it was a good experience. When I applied, I didn't even realize that there were no women employed yet. So, but that really didn't matter. All I knew is I wanted the job and was so excited to be there and have that opportunity. And truly, it was a great experience. My colleagues were welcoming, helpful for the most part. It really was a good experience, and I've had some lifelong friendships as a result.
Yes, and also, like we said, being the first woman sworn in as an officer at the police department, you know, you already said your fellow officers made you feel welcome, but also, that mean you opened the door for other women to feel comfortable to be there too. Can you just talk about the impact that you feel like you've made since you've actually become an officer, or, you know, now that you're retired, I should say?
Yeah, I think the department learned how much they were lacking in terms of just their facility. For example, there was no women's locker room. I had a locker in with 30 some men. So that was always interesting, but we made it work and they were very good about it. We had shifts, basically. I had my own shift to go in and change my clothes. And I think also there are situations in police work I found where a woman on the scene has a calming effect when emotions are running high and so forth. And not always the case, and men are also very capable of de-escalating. But I think there were situations where it was helpful to have a woman on the scene. And I think the department learned that, and I know they, real soon after I left, they hired one or two more women, and I've lost count how many they've had since, but I know it's a lot.
And that just goes to show the impact, like we said, that you've had, the influence that you also had, highlighting women that make the difference in the greater West Bloomfield area, and one of the first, or excuse me, the first woman sworn in into the West Bloomfield Police Department, Jean McBride, joining us today to talk about her experience. So also, Jean, why was it, or why is it important to you, or why did you strive to be the first woman, or was that a goal? Like, why was it important to you to be the first woman in the department, personally?
It truly was not necessarily a goal of mine at all. I fell into that part of it, but my focus was more on, I had a passion for that industry, and I was focused on doing the job the best I was able and learning as much as I could, and challenging myself, overcoming. Certainly, there were some fears. I was 23 years old at the time, so I grew a lot maturity-wise during that time. So, yeah, being the first woman really was not in the forefront of my mind. I put that out of my mind. I wanted truly to be seen as just another officer. And that's what I was striving for.
Right. After doing something that you love for so long, and you know, like you said, you weren't even necessarily, it wasn't a goal to be the first woman. You just went to be an officer of the law and, you know, serve your local community. But, you know, after doing it for so long, you get to the point of, you know, retirement, where you want to call it quits. Can you just talk about your mentality and your mindset behind slowly getting to the point in your career where you say, I think it's time for me to retire?
Yeah, I've been retired 5 years. I will say it was a very hard thing to do, to let go of something I had done in one form or another my entire career. I feel very fortunate to have found a career early on that I loved and been able to be in that field, again, whether in the private or the public sector, my entire career. And not every day was wonderful, but for the most part, I really enjoyed it. And a lot of people can't say that, you know. I like going to work pretty much every day.
Right.
But you reach a point, you're just tired.
And that's the thing too. Like, I love the difference that you said, because a lot of people just go to work because they have to, and it's a completely different feeling when you're going to work and you enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work whatsoever. You're just doing what you love to do to contribute to society. Ultimately, that's why I asked you the question, because I understand when you usually have to retire from something that you're used to for the majority, if not all of your life. It just takes you to a completely different space, different mentality, and different routine and things of that nature. So thank you for explaining that for us. What do you see for the future of women in law enforcement, specifically in West Bloomfield? What's your vision?
I think, the door's wide open. There are so many more areas of expertise in law enforcement now than there were before. And an example of that would be computer forensics. That didn't exist when I was there. We didn't have computers. To some degree we did, but we didn't have them in our car. We didn't have the forensic tools that exist today.
Right.
So, there are various directions you can go after serving your time and learning the job on the road. A lot of different areas to go into and things to do with that experience than there used to be. So I think it's a great field for women. I think we've blazed the trail, and it's no longer unusual to see a woman in a police car. It's become commonplace now, which makes me really happy, and I think that benefits the community tremendously.
And that's good that you feel that way, and after you have that effect. Any last words before we let you go, Jean?
And no, just other than, West Bloomfield's a great community. I'm not living there anymore, but I have nothing but warm feelings for the community and for my time spent working there. And you have a tremendously progressive police department that has come through the leadership of Chief Patton, who actually started while I was there back in the day. So he's made tremendous strides, and I'm real proud of him and proud of the department, and glad I was a part of it.
Absolutely. And we are so glad that you spent time to talk to us too today. Jean McBride, the first woman sworn into the West Bloomfield Police Department, July 13, 1979. Thank you again for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin.
Absolutely. Speaking of careers, starting your careers early also, we have other opportunities going on for you to start your career early. Oakland Early College provides opportunities for West Bloomfield School District students to gain college credits and explore career opportunities. And joining us to talk a little bit more about that, head of school for the Oakland Early College, Morrison Borders, joining the Splash Live. How are you, Morrison?
I'm great. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely, man. Such an interesting thing that you have going on about the Oakland Early College student. Can you just tell us a little bit about this? What is the Oakland Early College?
Sure. So what we are is we're classified as an early middle college. What that means is that all of our students are simultaneously enrolled in high school and college courses, and there's no cost to students or families for any of the college tuition. We are a 5-year high school program, but there are opportunities for students to graduate in 4 years. And we are the only standalone early middle college program in Oakland County. And like you said, we are also part of the West Bloomfield School District.
Oh, nice. And I believe we do have, if I'm not mistaken, we may have a video that just goes a little bit into the Oakland Early College student experience also. Let's check that out.
I joined OEC because I really liked the small community and it made it very family oriented. The best part about OEC is the community, and it doesn't matter what grade you're in or what background you come from. We're always welcoming.
I joined OEC personally because I just felt more comfortable. It's an academic school, of course, but everyone just seems a lot closer at OEC than you would get at a typical school.
I would recommend OEC to a student who is driven but also wants that challenge with school.
I think the best part about OEC is how close-knit the community is together and being able to have that college experience while still in high school.
I would tell someone who is considering OEC to join because it's a life-changing opportunity and you really get to explore like your career and what college is really like.
I would recommend OEC to everyone because it's such a great opportunity.
OEC is a family.
OEC is a family.
OEC is a family.
OEC is a community.
OEC is a community.
OEC is a community you want to be in.
Oakland Early College, OEC, a lot better to say, a lot easier to say than the whole thing, Oakland Early College. But that's great that we have students sharing their experience there, saying that it's a welcoming family environment. Also, no cost to the students for OCC tuition or OEC tuition fees, books. They often go on to complete their bachelor's degree. Also, can you just talk about other programs and opportunities that OEC has for college? For high school graduates or even just current high school students?
Sure. So the great thing about OEC is that our students are full-time high school students and they're also full-time college students, right? And so students can take any course that's offered at OCC. So currently we have a student who is in the culinary arts program. We have a student who just completed her paralegal certificate, right? So she'll graduate in May with her high school diploma and her paralegal certificate, and she can go be a paralegal in any law office in the state of Michigan or actually across the country. Actually, one of the cooler ones that's happened is a few years ago, we had a student who went through the emergency medical services program. He graduated with his high school diploma and his paramedic certificate. A couple months after graduation, he was a paramedic with the Farmington Hills Fire Department, right? So students can really explore any career that they're looking for. The majority of our students do go directly on to a four-year school. Even the student that I talked about with the paralegal certificate, she wants to be a lawyer. That's why she went into that field. She's been accepted to Michigan, where she will start in the fall. But kids can explore any option that is available to any OCC student. We have students in the nursing program, in the creative design program. We even have a student in the theater program, right? So kids can really do anything they want to do. And they also have lots of opportunities to explore different career paths. So they understand exactly what they want to do when they actually do go to college. So our students leave here much more focused than your average high school student would.
Oh, man, Morrison. Okay, there's so much more I want to pick your brain about. We're joined right now, Morrison Borders, head of school of Oakland Early College, talking about the Oakland Early College program and opportunities to West Bloomfield School District students. Let me tell you something. When I was in high school, I would be in classes or see or talk to other students in high school who were in these other alternative programs, the DECA, the after school, the early learning college. And I'm like, how did you get into this? I never heard about this. So can you, it's a great opportunity. Can you just talk about how you're getting the word out, how you're convincing students that the 13th grade is something they should do before even considering just jumping into the four-year college or university experience like most students often strive to do?
Right. Yeah. So we do a lot of marketing through social media. We also do a pretty heavy email campaign. We have a webinar that's coming up actually next week, or actually not next week, tomorrow. That's going to go a lot deeper into what we do. The big benefit, though, of that 13th grade year is those extra college credits that you're earning that are going to transfer to the school that you want to go to. If you stay in a traditional high school and you go the AP route, which many students do, which is great, right? You can earn, probably around between 24 and 31 credits if you're really maximizing your AP opportunities, meaning you're taking about 8 AP classes while you're in high school. The catch with those AP courses, though, is in order to earn that college credit, you have to have a qualifying score on the AP test. So if you have a bad day or if you're sick on the day of the test and you don't perform at your best, you're not going to earn those college credits. Yeah. But while you're here at Oakland Early College, you're taking that college course, right? So if you have one bad day, you have an exponential number of days to make up for that through the course of that class, right? And so you have much more opportunity to earn those college credits, and you can earn all the way up to an associate's degree, which is 60 college credits. And so there's a great program in the state of Michigan called the Michigan Transfer Agreement. That's a cluster of 30 college credits that go to every public university in the state from every community college. But then schools take more than that, right? Michigan will accept up to 60 community college credits. Michigan State is the same. Oakland University will actually accept up to 90. But those additional credits are very program and course specific. So our students work with the OCC counseling department to make sure that the courses that they are taking are going to transfer to the schools that they want to go to. So we have 4 students going to Michigan this year, and those 4 students are transferring a combined 240 credits, right? And so that's something that's going to be really beneficial for them down the line. It's going to save them a lot of money in terms of college tuition as well.
Listen, I was just recently thinking about how, my dad and other people in my family were telling me before, right before I graduated, hey, you should go to a community college. You should do this to save you money, this to save you time. And I wasn't trying to hear any of that. I just wanted to go straight to the 4-year university, take out the loans and whatever the case may be. Now that I'm older and look back, I'm thinking of opportunities like this, especially for students like me, students who may be in between, may, consider the military or any other options, or just working immediately after, all of which are fine. But I think this is a great opportunity for students to take advantage of. Last thing before we go also, can you just reiterate the requirements, the qualifications? How do they get into this? The cost, things of that nature. How can they reach out to take advantage of this opportunity also?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us on the website or on our website at oaklandearlycollege.org. That'll take you right to our West Bloomfield website. But we're a program that's available for all students in Oakland County. So if you're an Oakland County resident, you qualify initially to join our program. Our students have to have completed Algebra 1 before starting our program. Mm-hmm. And you can start our program in 9th, 10th, or the beginning of your 11th grade year. So you don't have to start our program in 9th grade like you would start, a traditional high school. You could go to, say, West Bloomfield High School or Farmington High or North Farmington for a year or two, and then transfer to Oakland Early College in your 10th or 11th grade year. Mm-hmm. We have an application process that all students have to go through. Every student that wants to be a part of our program has to participate in a family meeting with me, where I explain the program to them and their family to make sure that it's a good fit. Students who come to OEC want to be part of something different, right? We're a very small school community. We have 180 students, so we're not big. We don't have a lot of bells and whistles. Mm-hmm. But what we do have is a very tight-knit community focused on student success, right? All of our students and all of our staff are pulling in the same direction, are supporting each other while we climb. We want to make sure that all of our students understand that it's important to be positive influences in the community, and we do a lot of things internally to make sure that happens. Like I said, the best part about it is you leave us with up to an associate's degree, and there's no cost to families. And so you're looking at saving, between $30,000 and $60,000, depending on what 4-year institution you go to, and what ultimately how many college credits you earn while you're with us.
Hey, I will continue to be personally an advocate for this program, but we are happy here at the Splash Live to be a channel to continue to get that word out. Morrison Borders, head of school for the Oakland Early College, telling us a little bit more about the programs at the Oakland Early College. Thank you again, Morrison, for joining us.
All right, thank you very much. You have a great day.
Absolutely. You too, sir. Have a better one. That's a great thing for people to learn in high school if you are looking and considering other options once you leave. And speaking of other options, being a firefighter could also be that. And speaking with us, West Bloomfield Fire Marshal Byron Turnquist is joining us to talk about local changes in the West Bloomfield Township when it comes to their burn ordinances. Tongue twister. How are you doing, Fire Marshal Turnquist?
Yeah, last fall, the township adopted a new ordinance which allows residents to enjoy a recreational fire in their yard. Previous ordinance prohibited all open burning within the township. This new ordinance will allow for a small recreational fire in a fire pit or a commercially designed fireplace that residents can use in their yard. Some of the key things to keep in mind is that you have to be at least 15 feet away from combustibles on your property and at least 25 feet away from anything combustible on your neighbor's property, sheds, garages, anything like that. And it's also a great idea if it's a commercially designed fireplace that you take that off of your deck, which is combustible, put that in the yard away from anything that might catch fire and enjoy your small recreational fire there.
Yeah, I think that was an important note right there because you may have just built that new deck ready for the summer and the spring and you ready to put a nice fire on it, but it's not going to happen right here in West Bloomfield. So thank you for sharing that. What other considerations went into the process when thinking of the changes for these ordinances?
Well, we want to be able to, we want our residents to be able to enjoy their yard. Michigan's a great state to enjoy the outdoors when the weather gets nicer. We're starting to see some of that here peeking around the corner. And we also, the ordinance also has a section in it if you have a neighbor or somebody nearby that has a respiratory ailment where that smoke bothers them and makes them uncomfortable. If it bothers a neighbor, makes them uncomfortable, the smell is too bad, too strong, if that neighbor will call and complain, that you need to put it out. This new ordinance clearly states that where the old ordinance, if it was a cooking fire, you were allowed to have it. And this cleans that up where if you're a nuisance to a neighbor, you have to put your fire out.
Very important, very important. We want to do things that are safe for the community as well as that benefits the entire community. While your barbecue pit or pit in general may smell good, it could be harmful to others. Joining us right now, West Bloomfield Fire Marshal Byron Turnquist, talking about the recent changes in the burn ordinances to West Bloomfield Township. How do you anticipate these changes will pretty much affect how residents feel? Like, how do you feel like the after effects of the changes will come? Or have you had any citizens or residents come to you already with their reactions to the changes?
We haven't heard any significant complaints.
Okay.
We do have, again, neighbors that have asthma, severe asthma, that have placed calls to ask their resident or their neighbors to put the fire out. And it's also important that when you're having a recreational fire, it's a recreational fire designed where you can burn clean, dry firewood. This burn ordinance change doesn't make it legal for you to clean up your yard this spring and burn all your downed tree limbs and leaves and that kind of stuff. That produces a lot more smoke. That is still not allowed. That's never been allowed. Still not allowed in the township. The change has been to allow people to enjoy a small recreational fire in their yard and enjoy the outdoors. And we want everybody to do it safe.
Right. And once again, thank you for providing that information because that's something that could be a misconception through all of these new updates. But before these changes, were there a lot of burn ordinance violations going on within the community, or was it so loaded that the community or the township felt like, okay, we feel like the residents are being manageable, so let's open this up too?
I think there was a large group of people throughout the township that wanted to enjoy a recreational fire, whether it's by the waterfront or just in their backyard. Hard to say how many people were doing it, even if they were violating the old ordinance. But there was a desire for residents within the community to be able to enjoy that recreational fire in their yard.
So not too many reported violations of the burn ordinances prior to these changes, you would say?
We would get a handful every year.
Okay. Great information for the greater West Bloomfield area to actually understand. Coming up as we do open up into the spring and the summer months and people start to get out a little bit more, in what ways will these revised ordinances be communicated to our community other than the Splash Live? Do you have any other ways that you're getting this word out for people to know?
Well, the splash, we're also going to try to put some educational material on our social media pages, the West Bloomfield Fire Department's Facebook page. We'll probably reach out to the Beacon as well and try to get some media coverage there to help get the word out to let people know what has changed and what is allowed and what still isn't allowed.
Okay. Good to know. And one last thing that I just thought of, actually our producer just let me know of. What would be the safe way to put together a recreational fire pit? I don't want people to just think that they can just, like you said, maybe put a few things together in a can, throw some gasoline on it, and just throw a fire on it. What would be your advice, safe way to put together a recreational fire pit under these ordinances?
Yeah, definitely no gasoline. Gasoline is not safe. This is the days if you were in the Boy Scouts growing up or Cub Scouts and you learn how to build a recreational fire. Again, you need to use clean, dry wood. You want to use some smaller wood for kindling. Some rolled up newspaper is a great way to put inside the fire and get the newspaper going, which will spread to the kindling, which will spread to the logs that you're using for the fire. You want to stay away from gasoline. Gasoline is extremely dangerous. And if that fire doesn't start taking hold and doesn't start going in the beginning, there may be something smoldering in that spot. And you definitely don't want to put an ignitable liquid into the fire. We end up, when people try to do stuff like that, that's how they get burned and seriously injured. And that's how the fire can spread to other places in the yard, not understanding the physics and the chemistry of gasoline and what actually burns.
Yes. And with that being said, worst case scenario, something does happen from the fire pit that kind of expands. What are some ways that people should go about handling that fire and or extinguishing it?
If you're going to have a recreational fire, and this is a great idea, even if you're going to have use your barbecue grill in your yard, you want to have a fire extinguisher readily available, one that's going to work. You want to have a garden hose nearby. And if the fire were to spread outside of your grill or outside of your commercial fireplace or your fire pit, the first thing you want to do is get away from it, call 911, and then try to use the fire extinguisher to extinguish it or a garden hose. If you're able to put it out before we get there, we're not going to be upset about still coming out. We can help make sure that the fire is extinguished. But it's just very important to get away and to get the firefighters on their way as soon as possible, because fire can grow rather quickly.
Another great note, too, by West Bloomfield Township Fire Marshal Byron Turnquist, talking about even if you do put the fire out, please remember it's not a waste of time. Make sure you call them first, do what you can to manage or put it out, but then, even if they do come afterwards, they can still check and make sure it is extinguished the correct way. Thank you again for joining us, talking about it. Any other notes, words that you want to get out to the community in regards to these burn ordinances or anything else that you have going on with the fire department?
Yeah, when you're done enjoying the recreational fire, you need to make sure that the fire is out. Don't clean out the ashes from the fireplace or the fire pit and put them directly into the garbage can. Even when we think that those fires are out, those coals can hold heat for a long period of time. Let them sit for a couple days, stir them up, make sure that they're out before you clean them out and put them into a garbage can. You just want to make sure that that's out. You don't want to put it on you don't want to put it in a plastic garbage can on your deck or in the garage or anything else that's combustible, because that may lead to a fire. So we want everybody to be safe. It's very important inside your home. We just recently changed our clocks, so make sure that you have working smoke alarms in your house. If they're more than 10 years old, replace them. Even the interconnected ones that were there when they built your house, replace those. If those are more than 10 years old, they're not as sensitive. They're not going to do their job like they would have, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. So you want to update those and make sure that you've got good working smoke alarms throughout your house.
Absolutely. Great word, Aaron. Great place to land. Thank you again. Fire Marshal for West Bloomfield Township Fire Department, Byron Turnquist, talking about the changes in the burn ordinances. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Absolutely. And this week, speaking of safety, is the start of Severe Weather Awareness Week, and Oakland County is sounding the alarm. Oakland County will be participating in a statewide voluntary tornado drill. Voluntary tornado drill. This will be Wednesday, March 20th at 1 p.m., encouraging families, students, workplace individuals, and others to learn about emergency preparedness and plan for how you will respond to it and when anytime an emergency happens. Severe weather season usually occurs in Michigan between late March and its peak around this time also. Around June for Southeast Michigan specifically. For more information, visit Facebook at oakgov.em or oakgov.com. We will be joining you with more information to talk about coming up on The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. The stage is set at West Bloomfield Public Library with Talkin' Broadway. Catch showcase performances each month, like West Side Story on March 24th. For more details, go to wbliv.org.
I use public transportation almost every day.
We take public transportation here to the senior center to volunteer.
When you say, I don't need a bus, I have a car, what about your neighbor? What about your family member? What about your mother, your grandmother? How are they getting to medical appointments? Who's helping them?
For more information, go to oakgov.com/Oakland Transit.
What people are watching in Kego Harbor. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, and social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh. Continuing to keep you updated on the latest news and information going on around the greater West Bloomfield area, including important information about viewing tonight's West Bloomfield School Board meeting. It is tonight on Civic Center TV. We will be broadcasting 2 municipal meetings at the same time. The West Bloomfield Township Board meeting begins at 6 p.m. and will air on Civic Center TV, civiccentertv.com, and on 89.3 Lakes FM. We know many will be looking to watch the West Bloomfield School District Board of Education meeting tonight for information on the future of Roosevelt School. The meeting airs exclusively on WBTV, which is Comcast Channel 19 and AT&T Channel 99. It will be available on demand on civiccentertv.com on early Tuesday morning. Stay tuned to our website and social media for more information on upcoming programming. West Bloomfield Parks also reminding the community, please keep your dogs on a leash in the parks. WB Parks recently receiving increase in park user complaints about dog owners letting pets roam around off leash, violation of township, state, and park ordinances, laws, and rules, by the way. So please make sure you put your dog on a leash that is 6 feet or shorter and under control. West Bloomfield Parks can ticket users for these violations, by the way, so please keep it simply safe for your liability and for other people's safety. Within these dedicated areas of the West Bloomfield Dog Park is where you can actually let your dog off without a leash. That's the only exception. To report a violation, call the West Bloomfield Police on non-emergency line at 248-975-9200. As we do continue to give you news on the local area of Greater West Bloomfield, please remember and keep in mind with these new burn ordinances that we did announce here on the Splash Live with Fire Marshal Byron Turnquist, and also of the Tuesday, the Truck Tuesday, Food Truck Tuesdays that we do have coming up. We will keep you updated with all of that on our social media. Thank you again for watching the Splash Live. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh, live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.